Welcome back. So Manchester United have won the EFL Cup, a first piece of silverware for them in 6 years, and a first piece for Erik Ten Hag in his first season. All going very nicely. Does it feel like the start of something?
Absolutely. You know, winning that trophy, that's a massive trophy for them to win, simply because Erik Ten Hag, and when you look at the noise not so long ago, what he's had to simmer down and what he's done and how he's turned it around and how it's not so long ago they were losing 4-0 to Brentford, you know, with all the stuff with Cristiano Ronaldo around him. He's turned it all around to a place now where that group of players are so together, and now they've won something together. You saw World Cup winners, Champions League winners. You saw them all there celebrating winning that trophy, because as a group they've done something together. It's the beginning for me with Man United. They're coming, you know what I mean? And he's got to take a lot of credit for what he's done, because he's been very blinkered in what he wants to do since he's been there, with the signings he wants to make, the people he's brought in, the way they want to play, the way he's managed players. It's been a real masterclass in managing up to this point from him.
Yeah, and he's not stopping there. They're very much focused on the rest of the season. The culture at the club, he's someone who's reaping the benefits.
He looks healthy as well, doesn't he? I mean, after a game, obviously they're very professional and getting prepared. There was no late nights last night, no drinking, you know, no celebrating. Let's get back to work, and they look like they're enjoying the environment. You know, they're at Carrington every single day. They're enjoying what the manager's got to tell them, and they're reaping the rewards on the pitch. You know, the results are coming. It's easy for a manager to send his message once you start picking up results. Yeah. He's getting the best out of the group. It's not a team full of superstars. He got rid of 2 superstars, so I think was key. You know, Pogba and Ronaldo. And I loved them as players. I really did. I thought they were 2 of the best players we've ever seen in the Premier League. But probably didn't fit into his system. You know, he brought in players, good types. Someone like Christian Eriksen. Weghorst. Weghorst, for me, should be nowhere near a Man United shirt, but he plays him every single week, and he's doing a job for him. Out of possession, they go and get the ball back. Because of him, he triggers it. So he's a component amongst the group, you know. They're not all, it's not. You look at Sir Alex Ferguson's size, what he built throughout the years. There wasn't all superstars. There was journeymen in there. There was academy boys in there. He needed that mixture to make the group fantastic. And I think at the moment, right, he's absolutely right. Ten Hag needs all the credit in the world. He's done a magnificent job, and I think this is just the start. I think they're in the title race. I really do. I don't think they'll win it over Man City. But I think they're in it, and certainly they're in the rest of the competitions. And you give them every chance.
Weghorst, I think, is a really interesting one, because we know. I know you said it's not a team of superstars, but you mean in terms of nobody's kind of trying to shine any brighter than anyone else. But we know who the best players are at Manchester United, and technically he wouldn't be one of them, Weghorst. But the analogy that's been used is that he's a placeholder. As Tim says, Erik Ten Hag knows how he wants to play. He's got someone in there who, for now, can do that role for him, while he gets someone who's maybe at a technical level of the other players.
Well, what that does is like we're saying, what we kind of mentioned about with Graham Potter, is using a player that everybody doesn't feel like, well, he's using exactly what he needs right now. Yeah. And like you look at Weghorst, I watched him against Leeds. He played him in the 10. You know, he dropped up. Rashford went up front. He played him in the 10. You're thinking, what's it? Bam! And it was perfect. Yeah. The way he moves the players, even his substitutions. Everybody comes on and makes a difference, contributes something to it. And the thing is with the fans, why the fans gave him the loudest cheers, is because he's come in, and they've seen change what he's trying to do without the noise what's going on, and he's done it slowly. You know what I mean? Even the way he dealt with the Rashford situation before, how he had to deal, like I mentioned, with the Ronaldo stuff, how he dealt with the Harry Maguire starting. You know, he's just done everything really in the way he sees it and how he wants to do it. And now look at Man United. They're ready to go, aren't they? Tim, they are definitely in the race. And when you look at what Arsenal have got to do with a young side, they've got to stay up there and they've got to keep winning. Man City are... you know what I mean? They get going in there. If Man United continue to do what they're doing with the momentum they've got, they'll be amongst it. They'll catch people.
Right. Also, we talked about it with Chelsea. Consistency in their selections. You could pick their team now, couldn't you, Man United? You could pick Arsenal's team if everyone's fit. You know, there's no coincidence. I think Graham Potter needs to learn from someone like experienced manager like Ten Hag. I think he's been around, he's done it. Yes, it's a smaller environment. This is the biggest club he's ever going to manage, but he's doing a brilliant job at the moment. I can't speak highly enough of him.
In Manchester United's glory years, this wouldn't necessarily been the level of celebration for winning this particular trophy. Do you think, and sort of grouping in with that, Erik Ten Hag's open letter to the Manchester United fans where he says, you know, this is great, but we are now focused. We want to get back to winning lots of different trophies, getting the players in today, not letting them celebrate fully yesterday, back on a 10 o'clock flight, and then into the training ground again today. Is that all part of Manchester United using this trophy as a means to an end rather than an end in itself?
Yeah. In 2017, they used that as a springboard to winning the Europa League. And I think that's going to be the start, as the guys have been saying. I think now they feel capable of winning anything. But I think in Ten Hag, they also have a transformative manager, the one transformative manager they've had since Sir Alex Ferguson. The others did a job. I think you could argue maybe Jose went there. He still had a bit of that stardust, but it wasn't a happy ship ever. He did the job. But as far as Ten Hag's concerned, he's done the job, but the ship is happy. Players that many people had thought were not long for the exit door at Old Trafford have improved. Wan-Bissaka coming on yesterday. That's great man management as well as good tactically as well, because Dalla had been on the yellow card. Sancho now looks like the player we saw at Dortmund. Shaw is playing not only at left back, at left centre half as well. There are a lot, and Rashford, I mean, he's just gone off the scale. And I think it's interesting because it's 7 years ago, the weekend just gone, since he made his debut against Midtjylland. And when you look at what he's been through, and the fact that lots of people last summer were saying that he should be sold, and if PSG wanted big money, they should accept it. And yet he's made all those people eat their words. Absolutely. And he's still only 24 years of age. He could now be anything he wants to be in the game. And what I think Ten Hag's also done, he said to other players outside the club, like a Harry Kane, for example, this is what you get if you come here. I've improved players, I've improved the club, I've managed the fans, I've earned respect. I think that's quite key, actually, because at the start of the season, people calling it Eric 10 months after they lost. Well, exactly. Brighton and Brentford, people, especially after Brentford, people said, no, this might be too big for him. And, you know, people in my profession, I've got to be honest, you know, I saw some of the match reports on the Sunday morning and spoke to other people, and they thought...
They're saying it's too big for him?
Did they didn't say it was too big, they said it could be too big.
Did they say the same about Graham Potter? I don't want to go back to Graham Potter, but did they say the same thing? Because there is a bias towards the foreign managers when they come over sometimes.
You're right. I think you're right, but I do think, and there is a big feeling that had Graham Potter not been English-British, that maybe he would have had more criticism than he's had. But actually, I think you only have to look at a cross-section of the Sunday papers and the Monday papers. A lot of people are of the opinion that either Graham Potter exerts his own influence on the Chelsea team selection. Sorry, I should take that back, because I don't know as a fact that he isn't exerting his own influence, but there needs to be something from Graham Potter in terms of a statement with his next couple of games to make clear that he wants to change things around. Otherwise, people will continue to lose faith in him, whereas Ten Hag has always been his own man.